What's up, everybody? It's your boy C Sams, and this is That Comic Show. It's the end of Phase 2. Ultron has been eradicated, the team has separated. Now it's time to get into some new adventures and meet some new characters. We're going to start Phase 3 with the movie that dropped that was originally supposed to be done by Edgar Wright, was ended off with a different director. I'm going to be talking about Ant-Man. Ant-Man, the first time Ant-Man has ever come to the big screen, and the first time most of us has even heard of an Ant-Man. It seems kind of cheesy, the name, but the movie was pretty good. There's a lot of comedy beats in there, a lot of different takes on the character, and I love how this movie took a lot of Edgar Wright's vision and expanded on it. Marvel did a real good job in dropping this movie. We meet a lot of new characters, we meet a lot of old characters that we didn't see before, but they were very intricate to the making of the MCU. So without further ado, let's get right into Ant-Man, and we're going to talk and we're going to break it down, and by the end of this video, you're going to find out and realize just why Ant-Man was justified.
Ants! Ants! Ant-Man!
So, Ant-Man is actually going to begin in the past. We're at 1990 something, when S.H.I.E.L.D. was actually being put together. We see the actual headquarters of S.H.I.E.L.D. still being built. You see the team coming together, you see Howard Stark, right? You see the Agent Carter that we saw from before. We see this other shifty looking character, and we see Hank Pym, a young Hank Pym. Now we see him talking to them, and he's saying pretty much, hey listen, somebody was snooping around in my lab, and y'all not gonna get my Pym particles. Now Pym particles is the particles that Hank Pym designed to allows him to shrink to the size of an ant, but still maintain the strength as he was as a man. So if you calculate it, he packs a punch, pun intended. But anyway, during this time, a lot of stuff is going back and forth. They're not really vibing right. Hank Pym storms out and leaves the situation. So we also tend to see the trend that Marvel is going at. They're going back and kind of rewriting their history. They're kind of making their history make sense. They're breaking it down so that we can see it, and they're doing a great job at it. So we're going to get right into it, and we're going to jump to present time.
Pym particle is a miracle, please. Don't let your past determine the future.
As long as I am alive, nobody will ever get that formula.
Now, we see my man, Paul Rudd. See his face straight up in the camera. And all of a sudden, a punch comes from nowhere. He's in a fight. He's in a jail fight. The man's in jail. Now, he is in jail because of the fact that he is a great thief and he got caught a couple of times. So he's in jail. He gets punched up and beat up, and that's his initiation to get out of jail. It's crazy. So, as he's getting out of jail, he meets my man, Michael Pena. Michael Pena, he was the comedy gold nugget in this entire movie. It was awesome. So, they have this conversation in the car. They're riding around. He say, listen, man, you need a place to stay? You can stay with me. But, you know, try to get a job. So, Paul Rudd goes out there and try to find a job. He doesn't get the greatest of jobs. He get a job at Baskin-Robbins. And I love how they put it together. I love how they made it. They kind of made it make sense. Baskin-Robbins finds out everything. Anyway, you see some stuff in the movie. You see some funny stuff. And that's about it. Now, Pym Industries is being led by Darren Cross. Darren Cross was a person who actually worked alongside Hank Pym before Hank Pym went into obscurity. Now, Darren Cross is trying to figure out how to redesign the Ant-Man. He's been snooping around, he's been playing around, and he's starting to get closer into creating the actual Pym particle for himself. He has a lot of shots that he's throwing, and I can make it feel like he's that much closer into breaking loose and getting a whole bunch of money for this Pym particle. Now, we get over to Hank Pym. Hank Pym is very nervous. His daughter, Hope, is working alongside with Darren Cross, but she's also keeping a close eye to see if he's getting even closer to what's going on. There's a lot of stuff happening all at once, but I love how they expanded, and I love how they broke it down. Now, we're getting back to Scott Lang. Scott Lang is walking around. He just got fired. He got back to his crib. He said, yo man, why you here so early? He said, man, I got fired, man. He's like, Baskin-Robbins? He's like, yeah. He said, yeah, Baskin-Robbins always finds out. It's a nice little joke. Now, you see the rest of the crew. We see my man T.I. We see another dude. We actually seen this dude before in a couple of movies. Most notably, Dark Knight. The Dark Knight. We see this cat in Dark Knight. So anyway, he's chilling with the crew and he's saying, listen, man, I'm not saying that I'm back, but I need a payday. I need to see my daughter, so let's do this. So, I didn't even mention this. There was a part in the movie where he goes to see his daughter at her birthday party. He goes there and of course, his girlfriend or the baby's mother is with some police-looking dude. You know, a little back and forth is happening. He's trying to get to his daughter. That's the whole entire premise of this film. He's trying to show that he can be a good father to his daughter. He's done stealing. He wants to be right. He wants to do right. So that's exactly what he's trying to do. But unfortunately, he goes right back into a life of crime. Now, he breaks into Hank Pym's home and he's trying to get this, you know, to see if there's a safe, to get some millions, get some money, whatever. He breaks into the safe. He sees this biker outfit. Doesn't understand why the biker outfit is there. Makes no sense why the biker outfit is there. But takes it anyway. He figured if someone locked this up, it has to be valuable. Skip a couple scenes. He's putting it on. He's trying it out. Puts on the helmet. He pushes the button, and automatically he becomes small. If you ever seen that movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, that's exactly the feel that we got. So he's a small little dude. Michael Pena comes into the bathroom. He throws open the curtain for the shower. It's about to go down, literally. And we see this whole scene happening where he's breaking through the walls, he's cutting through the floors, he's hitting mouse and stuff like that. He's very hard. He actually falls out of the window and hits the roof of a car. Now we see a character inside the car. I forget my man's name, but I'm gonna show you right here. Bam, there it is. And he was actually part of an original, I believe it was a cartoon or TV series of the Ant-Man. So it's a little homage, a little callback to that. I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, he gets caught. He says, you know what? Let me get this thing right back to where I got it from because this is crazy. He brings it back. He gets caught. Now he's in jail. Now while he's in jail, Hank Pym comes and visits him, and he said, hey man, listen, I was talking to you in the suit. I'm telling you right now, you could do so much more. You could be so much more. You know, you just gotta hang with me. He was like, nah, I'm good. You can keep your suit. So he goes back to his jail. And all of a sudden, the ants are in there. The ants bring the suit. He said, listen, man, you can either stay in jail or you can put the suit on. So, of course, he puts the suit on, he pushes the button, bam, he's gone. Now, they get out of there. They get back to Hank Pym's home. Now, they're having this whole conversation. Hank Pym and Hope is talking to Scott Lang. Scott Lang immediately says, hey, man, why don't we call the Avengers? Let them take care of this. They're like, no. I need to take care of this. I gotta stop Darren Cross before he breaks through and actually finds out how to use the Pym particles and then sells it on the black market. So, of course, as he said that, we finally see that Darren Cross is actually breaking through and he designs a new suit just for the new particle, the Darren Cross particle, the Pym particle. He actually shrinks a sheep. He's actually able to do that. I thought that was pretty good. There's another scene in there that was very disgusting. One of the guys that was giving him pushbacks in the meetings, basically saying, you know, this is not good, this could get weaponized, and this could be sold to the wrong people. Now, Darren is in the bathroom with the dude, he's talking to the dude, he blasts him, he turns into a goop in the floor. He sweeps up the goop and he throws it into the toilet, flushes it. Disgusting. Anyway, now, of course, Scott Lang said, man, I don't got nothing else to lose, a whole lot to gain, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So we see a nice little training montage and everything like that. Hope is against it every step of the way. She wants no parts of this and she wants no parts of Scott. But Scott says to her, and I love how this communication is given, he says, listen, I'm disposable. If anything happens to me, he can live on. But if something bad happens to you, he can't live on. And I like how they're making a lot of mentions to Hope's mother, Janet, because Janet's not there. Why isn't Janet there? Well, let's take a look at it. In the movie, they make a lot of mention that Hank Pym was actually on this mission. Now, during this mission, he had to get into this war, I guess it was a missile or whatnot, with a titanium cover. He's trying to get into it, and he has a partner. His partner is his wife, Janet. So now Janet is actually the original Wasp. Now, she's trying to get in there, and instead of doing it the way that he was doing it, she went subatomic, and she went into the cracks, destroyed the missile from within. But the only problem with going that small, you can't come back. So this happened right in front of Hank Pym. So Hank Pym kept that from his daughter. Now during this whole training montage, that actually gets revealed because it got to the point where Hope was just getting too frustrated and too upset, and finally he broke down and broke it out and told her the truth. It's a really touching moment, very sad, but of course Scott Lang was right there to smooth the move and make it all nice. He said, this was real touching, I'm gonna get some tea. And that's exactly what he did. Crazy. Anyway, finally, Darren Cross has the power to make the Pym particles in the yellow jacket. Now he invites Hank Pym over to the industry and everything like that. He's showing all this, and during this entire scene, there was a plan happening in the back end. Ant-Man was supposed to come through, get the yellow jacket, and take the Pym particle and destroy the entire industry in order to stop Cross. But unfortunately, Cross was a little bit too smart. He knew something was gonna happen, and before anything could go down in the little tube where the yellow jacket was, Ant-Man ended up in that little tube. A couple of gunshots go on. Ant-Man throws his one of his little propeller things, whatever it's called, out. He blows out. Fight starts to go down. Now, during this entire scene, Hope and Hank need to get out of here. So instead, they have a tank, and the tank is actually a keychain. It shows the comedic chops on this movie. The keychain with the toy is actually a giant tank. Crazy. And it comes out the front of the building. Ridiculous. Now, Michael Pena is playing a great role because he's actually one of the guards. He's infiltrating as one of the guards. The two dudes, T.I. and the other dude, the outside causing all types of havoc. It was a funny part. Now, we're getting closer to the end of this movie. I told you this is going to be quick. Now, the yellow jacket has emerged. Darren Cross puts on the yellow jacket, and he's here and he's saying, listen, I'm going to stop you, I'm going to destroy you. It's your typical fight at the end, the third act, your typical fight. But it was a little bit different. Now, the difference between this fight is that they're actually fighting inside of a briefcase. And after that briefcase, he gets caught, they go back to Scott Lang's daughter's parents' house or whatever, and then they're fighting there. And instead of fighting fist to fist as big-sized people, they're fighting as little-sized people. And they're fighting at the kids' train set. And guess who's the train? Thomas. They're fighting with Thomas in this train set. It is ridiculous how they did this. It was funny, it was hilarious, but at the end of it, Darren Cross grows big again. He's coming after the daughter. And in order for Scott Lang to stop Darren Cross, he has to go subatomic. So he goes subatomic. He destroys Darren Cross. He destroys some things inside of him. And that's it. Before I get to the end of that, there was a part in the movie where Darren Cross was showing that he was going crazy because he was messing with the Pym particles. And I love how this actor, the actor is Corey Stoll, I love how he played this role to show just how sick and twisted he was becoming because of the Pym particles. It was very, very good and very well acted. I thought he did a great job. Now, while he's subatomic, he's going further and further and further and further away. He tries a couple of things, he does a couple of modifications, he pushes the button, and we see our first glimpse of Giant Man, but instead of it being Giant Man, he just becomes in his natural form. Now, as he's coming out, you see a little silhouette of Janet as the Wasp. I know some people saw it, and if you haven't seen it, boom, here it is. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to that because that is very, very important. Now, we get to the very end. Scott Lang is here. He is now the Ant-Man. He is donning the outfit, and he is living up to the moniker. Now, this whole conversation is happening. The family is back together. Everything is going to be working out just fine. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. The end credit scene was very, very important as well. You see, oh, I didn't even mention that. You know what? Let's mention that. Now, during one of the parts of the missions that Scott Lang had to do, he had to infiltrate the Avengers base. Now, while he's going to get into the Avengers base, he meets Anthony Mackie, otherwise known as Falcon. Now, him and Falcon, they go head to head and everything like that. That was a pretty interesting fight scene and everything like that. I thought that was pretty cool. Now, at the end of the movie, we see Anthony Mackie again asking questions about this dude. He talks to a reporter. She says, man, we have a lot of people coming out. A person who swings, a guy who crawls the walls. Obviously, we're talking about Spider-Man. And this was around the time that the deal with Sony and Marvel actually came through, and now we're going to have Spider-Man in the universe. The next movie that we're going to talk about is actually going to go deeper into that, and we're going to see a lot of stuff in this next movie. So, the very end, the very, very end, the last end credit scene, we see Captain America, we see Anthony Mackie, and we also see Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier, his arm is kept into this vice grip thing. They're talking amongst each other. They're saying, listen, man, this would have been better a couple weeks ago if it wasn't for the Accords. Well, the Accords are here. We got to get this done ourselves. Anthony Mackie says, maybe not. I might know a guy. And we're getting right into the next movie. The next movie that we're going to talk about is Civil War, one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, in my opinion. But at the end of this, Ant-Man. What a great movie, what a great cast, what a great film. Nice little heist film, straight to the point, broke it down, and it added some levity to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I hope you guys enjoyed me breaking this down for you, and I hope you guys realize just how important this movie was. The movie explained how S.H.I.E.L.D. was in the very beginning and how corrupt it was from then. It showed how the partnership between two people can forge together when you have one common goal. It shows that the father-daughter relationships throughout the movie can be mended and can be fixed. I love how everything kind of came together. Not kind of, everything came together. Anyway, this was Ant-Man, and this is Phase 3 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The next movie that we're going to talk about, I just mentioned it, Civil War. So I hope you're ready for this movie, because I thought this movie was the greatest movie of all time. But, we're done. Anyway, this is your boy C. Sands, this is That Comic Show, and this is Infinity Watch. It is my job to prepare you for the upcoming movie in May 2018, Avengers Infinity War. So, this is your boy Zams. Peace out.